Good morning. My name is Professor Leslie Johnson, and I'm thrilled to be here to talk with you for a few minutes about a subject near and dear to my heart. That's why I teach. I think I teach primarily because I might be the luckiest person on the face of the earth. And by that I mean that teaching to me is the best of all professions. And my school, Widener Law, might possibly be the best place I have ever worked in my life. My students are wonderful. My colleagues are great. And even on the very worst of days, when I'm tired, when I don't feel well, when I kind of wish I could just have stayed in bed, when I come into the classroom, that all goes away. And I have the time of my life. I came to teaching here at Widener in a very circuitous route. I did not plan it. I'm actually a teacher who has a law degree, as opposed to a lawyer who began a second career teaching school. And it happened very innocently, but looking back on it now, it certainly seems like fate. Teaching was my calling, I think, very early on in life before I even recognized it. In fact, when I was going to school in college, majoring in things like theater, public address, communications, I wasn't thinking about teaching. I was thinking about being the next bright star on the Broadway marquee. The teaching certificate came along primarily because my parents said, just in case, you might want something to fall back on that isn't quite as risky. And so I got that certificate. And as luck would have it, my very first real big girl job was teaching high school in suburban Chicago. And over the course of that time, I realized how much I truly enjoyed not just the teaching job, but working with students who had difficulties academically and socially. And so over the course of time, I went back and got a master's degree in special education. And so I always tell my students here, don't think you can scare me, because there's nothing you can show me that I haven't seen before, and far worse. But I believe sincerely that without knowing it, I did have an epiphany as a younger person. I became very enthralled with the story known as The Miracle Worker, the story of Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan. And that movie, that play, had such a profound effect on me that I have no doubt but what it led me toward the special education degree, and that eventually it brought me into the field of teaching. Although I practiced for a while after law school, I never had the passion for litigation that I had for teaching. I guess people have told me I have a real feel for it, but I don't think any real teacher will take credit for that. I think it's much more a matter of being born with something innate that pushes you, that moves you. I can't draw. You would never want to hear me sing. I can't change my own oil, and I'm as close to electronically illiterate as you're going to find in a grown-up person. But somehow I have a feeling for teaching, for learning. There's something innate that says, I can sense where you're going to have trouble. And I think I know what to do to prevent you from falling into the abyss before you actually get there. I'm so grateful. I cannot begin to tell you, I do have the best job in the world. Here at Widener, I teach property law, I teach estate law, sometimes I teach bar preparation courses. Sometimes I teach introduction to law to all of you who may come here as very new students. I pretty well teach what I'm asked to teach, and there's not one bit of it that I don't completely and joy. My hope is that you won't tell my bosses how much I love what I do, because I might never get another raise. It's really been my pleasure to talk to you about this. If you can't tell, then I've done a poor job of getting my point across. I love teaching. I love Widener. And I'm so happy to have had this time to share my feelings with you.